All right, so let's go ahead and start this lab. This is installing, updating, and removing software on Linux, which is all going to be command line. And yes, you've already run into that problem of the fact that you are running this in a virtual machine, meaning that you're running Linux in a window on your computer. And when you're running Windows in Windows, it does become kind of confusing because it's like, hey, which which window am I in, right? All right, so let's, they give you the introduction. They give you, if you read this prior. And then finally, we get to verifying Linux, verifying installed software on Linux. I also like to take a look at, I'm going to be updating VLC. I'm going to be installing Mozilla Firefox, and I'm going to be uninstalling GIMP. Now, I'd like to mention the fact that Linux is a great operating system, and we could do all this from the graphical system, every single bit of it. But it's easier for them, one, to have you do it at the command line because it's easier for them to host that out. Also, from the standpoint of doing this kind of work, very often Linux is used on a server. And so becoming very comfortable with this interface, this command line interface where you type in commands, that is to list things there. PWD is going to tell us where we're at. We're in the home student folder. Becoming comfortable with doing that is important. All right, so you can go ahead and take any of these and paste them right in. You can just hit this copy and paste them in. And that's what I'm going to do because it's going to be quicker to do that. I tell people, though, later on you're going to be doing more Linux. So it's really important to spend some time on what does this say? What am I doing when I put this in? What is this going to do for me? And then these little boxes are actually going to show you what happens. So there's the command that I copied in or typed. And then this is what should show up afterwards. So let's go ahead and click over here. You have to click back and forth, right? So if I'm over here, you can see that this little cursor is not filled in. So we click, now we're active in that window. All right, so let's see. This says package Firefox is not installed. No information is available. And this says package is not installed. No information is available. So yeah, that's exactly what we were supposed to get. And so what we did was check to see if Firefox was installed. Now we're going to take a look at the next command, which, oh my goodness, that gives us a ton of stuff. So let's take a look at what they would like us to see. All right, so what they're looking at is this first top portion, and it shows install, okay, installed. GIMP is installed right here. So we're supposed to be looking right up here, that portion. So we just checked to see if GIMP was installed, and yes, indeed, it is. So now let's take a look. This one's got S on it. All right, so what are we looking for? We're looking for a version number. That's what we're checking. We're checking for a version number. Oh, let me come up to where there's where I typed that in or copied it in. And it says status is installed, okay. And there's our version. 2712, architecture is AMD4. There's our architecture, 227, sorry. So that's what we're finding out. So again, if you read through the information, it's going to give you, hey, running this shows that VLC is installed, but also the version is out of date. It says 227 installed, but the newest version is 3011. And so that's the information that it's telling you. This will pay off later. So if you go through that now and get comfortable with the interface, it'll pay off later. So now we're actually going to update, right? So now we're getting to the point, update VLC. So now we're here, right? Now we're doing something. The other was just fun and games. So the sudo, that actually, or sudo, that's in Linux pronounced sudo, it basically means to run as an admin. And now we're going to go and get the install information. So it's building a list of packages. It did it pretty quick. And there's a lot of stuff there. But it's built a list of, here we are, reading a package list, building dependency tree, reading state information. And basically in this process, what it's doing is saying, okay, well, let's look at all the packages that are installed and figure out if everything is good and correct for updating these packages. So right here, they tell you to enter Y for yes. So that is not in a command, right? So I enter Y. Notice that the Y is capped. What that means is if I just hit enter, it'll just go ahead and put a Y in for me. That means that's the default. So now it's gone through and it's getting all the information for all the different things. There's, you can see VLC and tons of other things that it's updating. So we're updating Linux at this point. And then finally, what's going to happen is we'll be able to see this new version by running that command again. It'll show the version is different. So that's why we're going to run this command, which is what we ran before. I'll go ahead and pause it until it's done because it does take a while. All right, so it's done now, down here at the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and run that command again, which is basically our package S. Let's check VLC, right? Let's see what version VLC is. And you can see there's the version number. And we can already see that it's given me a 10 out of 30. All right, so I can check my progress again, but it was already showing a 10 there. And I can hit it here and get a green check mark. But as long as this number is going up, that's fine. All right, let's go through installing something that wasn't there. So it's going to build our packages again. It'll finally get to the point where it's done, which it is now, actually. And so now we're going to tell it, hey, I have to run as an admin. So sudo apt-get install for Firefox-ESR. So we'll put that in. So run as an admin, use this program apt-get and install, that's a switch, this. That's what's being told. And that's why the spaces are important when you type that stuff in. So now it really is going out there and getting it. And it will, where is, oh, there we are. So notice it tells us you need to hit Y again. And again, it's a capital. So if I hit enter, it's going to do it. So, you know, you can hit Y or you can hit enter. Whatever's capped is the default for that. So it is. Right now, it literally is going out there, looking on Debian's site, getting the correct package and installing that, and then giving you all this information about what's happening. So we should get that Y. We already got that, sorry. And now we're ready for, let's check the version, right? The DP, the D package, that's what I would call it, with the S is going to check the version of Firefox. And remember, we didn't have it installed before, and so now it should show this correct version, install okayed, someplace. Yeah, it definitely can be hard. There it is, status installed okay. It can be very hard to find that, and usually what I look for in Linux is where was my prompt? Where was the last thing I typed? And then that makes it easier. So I'm looking for this prompt, and then I go, okay, it's someplace down below. That's usually what I do. And we can check progress. It's done with that. And then we're going to uninstall something. And GIMP is a graphical application. It lets you draw stuff, basically. It's a very powerful program. And so I need to run as an admin and then say, okay, well, apt-get remove and look for this program called GIMP. It's going to come up with, do you want to continue? So all this stuff is telling you, okay, I found it all, and it looks like it's going to be fine. And then finally in here, the following packages will be removed. Now, some versions of Linux make this easier. It'll actually have this in a different color so you can see it better. This one does not, though. So I'll type a Y, and it's going through and uninstalling that. And then, of course, what we're going to do here is, hey, can you show me that information on GIMP? Tell me what the version number is and so on. And it's not installed. Not installed. No information is available. That's exactly what we're supposed to get. And then check progress, and we are done with that. It hasn't updated. Come on. 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10. That's good enough. Sometimes it does, these do error out like that, where you see it finally updated that. But if you're showing that it's 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, or how whatever it is, then you're really good to go. If you have any trouble with this stuff, then I can do a video like this, or we can do a Zoom meeting, something like that, to get it done. This is now finished. We can just close it and we're good to go. Another thing is this opened another window. And so always make sure you close that window, and you'll need to close the one in front of it. So then that way, if you start up another lab, it won't be conflicting. And I have students that'll have trouble with that. They'll get these weird error messages, which basically means they never closed the tab of the other one, and it's just still hanging out there going. So the best thing to do is, especially in a Linux one, because most people are not familiar with Linux, is read through what they're trying to teach you. Because later on, they're going to start dropping these, where I just copied and pasted. They'll actually have some that you can copy, and then in the description, it'll tell you what to do. And so that usually is where people have trouble, because if you just run through it and just copy, paste, oh, I'm all done, I don't know what I did, then later on it really hurts. So hope that helps. You have a good day, and we will talk with you later.